Good. My internet was being slow, so I was worried. It's not going to work very well today. Why am I so crooked? Okay. I don't know. It's just really crooked today. There. Okay. We'll wait a little bit to see if anyone gets on. We're doing some strength work today in this short class. So I have a 15-pound kettlebell ready, and I also have a blanket to be slippery on the floor, on my wood floor. Now, if you have carpet, go grab a couple of paper plates, or you could even get, like a box from crackers or cereal or something. Pull the bag of stuff out and just break down your box so you have that slick surface to put your feet on, or whatever we're sliding on the floor if you've got carpet. And I also do have a couple of blocks handy for some stretching at the end. So that's what we've got happening today. Sliding with a blanket, using some weights. And if you don't have a kettlebell, you could grab a jug of milk, or you could use some dumbbells if you have a dumbbell. But we'll kind of be flowing through movements, so even if you don't have any resistance, it will also move your body and it'll feel good. So we'll go ahead and wait another minute or so to see if anyone comes live. But if you're watching this recording and you're waiting for me to get started, we will start laying on our backs. And I'm actually going to fold my mat in half so I can lay on my back and put my feet on a blanket. So that's how we'll start. So go ahead and lay down. We'll center on our backs, but we can just be ready for our movement. So just lay on your back. Bring your hands to your belly. Have your feet on your slider. And just let it go long, and just let yourself lay in a shavasana for a couple of breaths. And let your hands rest on your lower belly. And feel your rib cage connected with the floor. So before we move, so important to really be in tune with that diaphragmatic breath. And we'll tap into our deep, deep core so that we have this internal support. That's the foundation of everything that we do. So we're moving from the inside out. Feel your rib cage expand into the floor, out to the sides as you breathe in. Notice the rise and the fall of your belly. And with your hands just right inside of your hip points here, you can bring your fingers kind of down. You can push into your heels on your slider and then slide in. And just feel the deep muscles of your belly kind of turn on to bring that. And then just slide your feet away. Feel like you're kind of pointing your tailbone towards your heels as you slide them in and then push them away. Morning, Jeannie. We are sliding. So if you have something to slide with, that's what we'll use. So if you're on carpet, like paper plates or a cereal box or something, and we're just starting on our backs with our heels on the slider, and you're just pushing it out and sliding it back in. So you'll feel your hamstrings, you'll start to feel your hamstrings. But I also hope that you can tap into this deep belly. And notice what happens, like if it wants to peak up, try to think about your belly flattening out like a pancake. So you're not using your superficial muscles, your rectus abdominis to pull this in. You're using your corset like transverse abdominis deep, deep down. So see if you can kind of feel that. And I like to have my hands on that lower belly. And think of like right inside of your hip points and just feeling those deep muscles work. And so just take 2 or 3 more slides here, just feeling that really subtle core work and turning on your hamstrings. And next time your knees come in, just reach your arms above your head, float your shins up off the floor, so we're kind of in this laying down table. And then cross your right hand to push into your left thigh and push your left thigh into your right hand. And then lengthen your right arm and your left leg away from each other. And then come back to center and just switch. Right leg, left hand, and then lengthen. And then right hand, left leg, push, and then reach. And just get into that core a little more. Think about letting your lower back push into the floor and finding that widening of your belly as you move. So you'll find that little resistance, and then opposite arm and leg reach away from each other. A little bit of resistance. Do that one more time. Just push your right hand, left leg, or whatever. That's right leg, left hand. Anyway, and then just hold on to the backs of your thighs and roll yourself up. And I folded my mat, so I'm going to unfold it. And we'll use our blanket a little more. This is so good to get into those deep stabilizing muscles of our core, and it'll be really good priming for our flow with the weight. Actually, I'm just going to leave this folded so that I have space. And now we'll do a lunge. Just a really simple knee down lunge with your foot on your slider. So I've got my right foot on the slider, my left foot down, and we're just going to start with just sliding that front leg. And go in a few different directions. So you can slide straight forward, you can slide out at a diagonal, and kind of go in between those two diagonals. It's hamstring work, but feel the stabilizing that's happening in your standing leg. And think of that lower belly support in a way that's not rigid, but it is supporting you, and you're not using your superficial muscles, but those deep corset muscles, your transverse abdominis. All right, now we're gonna switch. We're going to keep our front knee bent, and you'll lean forward to deepen your lunge, and then come back. So this is really happening with the back leg. You're finding more extension with that back leg, and then sliding back into your more 90-degree lunge. So use that back leg. And just track kind of in the same direction every time. You can go a little bit different, but let's do 2 more. And now we'll kind of combine those two. So as you lean forward, you only want to go as far as you can control, and you can bring your front leg towards straight, and then use all that muscular strength to bring you in. So you'll feel that lift as you pull your legs toward each other, through your pelvic floor, up through your diaphragm, up through the roof of your mouth. And really push into the big toe ball mount of that front foot. Let's just do 1 more slide there. And then release. Just find a kneel. We'll do some shoulder cars before we do the other side. So just big circle with your right arm. Try to keep your front ribs forward and down as you circle around. Lead with your thumb so you can't lead with it anymore, and then lead with your pinky. Let's do 2 more circles there. And then just switch. I like to have a hand on my ribs. Lead with your thumb, and then lead with your pinky. And the first one for me is always kind of a surprise by how tight everything is. And then one last one. And then release that. Bring your other foot to your slider and just lengthen out your leg. So this should feel pretty simple. And you can go in several different directions. You can feel the back of your hamstring working. And after you've done 8 or 6 of those, come into your lunge, and then we'll be extending through this back hip. And then you'll squeeze your heel and your knee toward each other to come back upright. So your front knee will stay bent, but you're using your strength, and you only go as far as you can control. Let's do 2 more like that. And then combine. So you can extend through your back hip and lengthen your front leg, and then come back, but only go as far as you can control. So it doesn't have to be far. We just really want to use your muscular strength in your range of motion. And let's do 1 more there. And release that. We'll just turn around so your back is to your slider, Bring your bum to the floor, just feet in front of you. I'm going to bring my right hand to my heart and my left hand to my slider. And then just slide that arm back and then slide it back in. And you can play with angles here. So we've got some eccentric contractions happening because we're engaging these muscles as we're lengthening them. It may not be super challenging, but it's really good just to kind of get into that core strength, and you can feel how this can be a full body thing. You want to use those deep core muscles. Let's do one more on that side, and then we'll just simply switch. So left hand on your heart, right hand on your blanket, or just switch sides, whatever you were doing. And you can, it's a good way to clean your floor, but you can go in a variety of angles. You don't have to go the same way every time. Right, we want to load and build strength in all of our range of motion, but my blocks are in the way. Try to keep the integrity through your spine. You've got core stuff happening, but you feel how your shoulder working taps into your core. Let's do two more. And then release. Just rock forward into a downward facing dog. I'm going to unfold my mat. And just let that be a whole body stretch. Opening through your arms and your shoulders, lengthening through your legs. And bend your knees. Just explore this in a way that feels good after all of that. It was subtle core turning on, using those deep muscles. And then we'll make our way to the top of our mat and just do a few halfway lifts and folds. Let your knees be soft so you're really feeling this in the backs of your legs. Engage that back body and then lengthen it. And then bend into your knees. Roll yourself up to standing. And we'll move through our kettlebell flow or dumbbells if you have dumbbells or a jug of milk, some kind of weight. And I'm using a 15-pound kettlebell. When I do my own practice, I usually use 20, but when I'm talking through it, I just want to make sure that I can, so using 15. We'll do a little bit of core warm up now that we've got our resistance. So if you've got a dumbbell, just hold it in front of you, and we're just going to take it in circles around your body. And just feel the weight shift in your feet as you go around. And then you can switch directions. And then grab your weight in both of your hands. And we'll do halos around your head. So start with it in your chest. You go back around. And just notice the connection of your feet to the floor. Notice what's happening in the center of your body. And then we'll just switch directions. And then bring your weight into your hands. And we'll start with a single leg deadlift. So I'm starting with my left foot forward, and your right foot can be back as a kickstand. And then you'll hinge right at your hips. So let your weight come toward the floor and then push into that left heel to come up. Now this is a straight leg movement and you're hinging right at your hip crease. If you feel like your balance is steady, you can let your right leg float as you come forward. We'll do 10. There's 5, 6, 7. And we already did some hamstring work. 9. So you may be feeling it. I am. 10. And then we'll step back into a lunge. Just bring the weight into your right hand. Bend into this left knee. And then you can lean your left hand onto your left knee. Come halfway forward and we'll row. So really let your shoulder blade protract and then retract your shoulder blade and lift your elbow. Drop it. And really find the full range of motion of your shoulder blade here. 5, maybe. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And bring your weight into your chest. Keep your lunge. We'll do some work on that back quad. So bend your knee toward the floor and then come up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then turn toward the long edge of your mat. Left toes to the left. Bring your weight into your left hand. We'll do some windmills. Reach your right arm up. And then just slide your weight toward your ankle and then use these obliques to come on up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then parallel your feet. Soften your knees and we'll do swings. So this is all coming from your bum, your hamstrings and your glutes. Let your weight just dangle. And you can let it swing. And then use your glutes to thrust forward. So you're going to really clench your bum at the bottom. And we'll just... So your weight, your arms aren't really doing this work. It's your lower body that's doing the work as you swing. And I like the momentum of a heavier weight here. This 15-pound is doing okay. Let's do 4 more. And then just find your hinge forward, let your momentum stop. Turn to your right and bring your weight to the floor. Plant your hands and come to a plank or a table. So you can have your knees down kind of in a long, wide table. And we'll just take the weight and find a row and set it down to the side. Plant your hand and then reach over with your other hand. Cross body and then row, plant it down to your right. So you're just rowing and moving your weight. So feel that stability through your core. After you've done Some with your knees down, you can try with your knees up. But like we did on our backs, you want to make sure that your engagement in your belly is flattening your belly, right? You're using your deep core, and it's not making a big peak. You're not creating so much pressure that you're squeezing all your organs out. Let's do one more with the right. And then make your way, move your weight to the middle and find a downward facing dog. Stretch there. And walk up to the top of your mat. And grab your weight to come up. And this time, we'll just make our way back around. How are we doing on time? And instead of just around the world here, I'm gonna do some figure eights. So you'll squat back and pass your weight under your thigh to your other hand and just go back and forth. And it doesn't have to be a low squat. You can start to get some momentum, but the stabilizing that your core has to do while you're swinging this around, whatever you've got, is the important part. Let's go back around. Come to the center, bring your weight into your hands, and we'll do our halos, but when you get to the back, find a tricep extension, and then come around. Bring your weight to the back, and find a tricep extension. And do a few more in this direction. Last one in that direction, and then switch. Bring your tricep extension. One more. So we have it to the back. Lengthen out. Come to center. Ground through your right foot. Step your left foot back as a kickstand. Hold your weight in your hands. Hinge at your hips. So you can have a softness in that right knee, but your hinge is happening from your hip. And you kind of engage that hamstring and glute to come upright. 2. And if you want to float your left leg, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Step back into your lunge. Bring your weight into your left hand. Lean part way forward. You can rest your right hand on your thigh. And then spread your shoulder blade down. And then lift your shoulder blade up and then your elbow up. So go through the full range of motion here. So feel your shoulder blade protract and then lift your elbow. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then bring your weight into your chest. Bend through that back knee. And come on up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Parallel your feet. And then turn your right toes to the right. Bring your weight into your right hand. Reach your left arm up. And then swing your hips over to the left. And then back up. For your windmill. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then back to swings. Parallel feet. Just find some buoyancy in your knees. If you don't want them locked out. And then hinge at your hips. Let yourself swing. Let go of the effort in your arms. Use your hips to push everything forward. Connect your breath with your movement, just in a way that makes sense. See if you can breathe in and out of your nose. Let's do 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then turn to your left. Bring your kettlebell down. Hands down. Knees up or down. But this is the most important part here, is to find that integrity in your spine. So lower ribs stay in, and you have support in your belly. And then find your row, and then drop it over to the other side. And then actually, its own side, right? Row, and then its own side. And then cross over to grab it, then row, drop it on its own side. So this moving it is great work for that stability in your center. So you can decide whether you've got knees up or knees down. Wider feet will be more stable, and feet closer together will be a little more wobbly. I've been talking too much to count. Still go back and forth. One more time. And then move your weight out of the way and lengthen back into downward facing dog. Enjoy your breath. Maybe wag your tail and play with your shoulders. And then bring your knees to the floor. I'm really just gonna slide that out of the way. How are we on time? We're past time. Go ahead and take your right hand and slide it underneath your left armpit and find a twist here. Stretch through the back of your heart. And then plant your left hand to come up to your table and just switch sides. And your stretch and twist on the other. Come back to your table. Cross your legs behind you. And then just take your legs wide. In a comfortable width. Okay. And then just let yourself find little circles. Just rock around on your pelvis. And you can gradually let those get bigger. And then switch directions. And then you can find a place where you want to just stay, maybe still. You can find little pulses with your breath. Inhaling to back out and then exhaling to sink in. And then if you want to end laying on your back, you can come down onto your back. If you like this way to end, you can just stay here in your stretch. Hopefully that kind of got you tapped in to those muscles closest to your bones that really support you and will carry you buoyantly through your whole day. Divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste. And thank you. Have a wonderful day.